is so wonderful. God's love is so wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. God's love is so wonderful. God's love is God's love is so wonderful. Oh, 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 yes, God's love is so wonderful.
Awesome. I think, Neil, kind of listened to you in the first few seconds, but then I think, again, network issues probably, but we'll get that sorted soon. So meanwhile, guys, again, apologies for probably the little bit of a delay. Again, technical issues. It's always a pain, but then we have had that sorted out is what we believe. And guys, please feel free to use the comments section over there, as you can see right now on YouTube. Please mention the place that you're from. So hopefully, if we can see some highs, some hellos, maybe. So that would be great to kind of understand that. Okay, some of you guys are actually tuning in this evening at about 7:10 p.m. IST. Cool. Okay, I guess actually commenting. Neil, can you see anything on your end?
No, I'm not able to see the comments, but yeah.
Okay.
I
think technical issues again, but yeah, we'll have that sorted out.
Yes, I think.
So assuming yes that while we have this technical issue sorted out, maybe Neil, how's your day today? How was quarantine going for you?
My day was quite good. We were having a lot of calls, a lot of preparation going on for this, and it is nice. The last 1 week was very nice actually, and something like probably I want to ask Johnny. We were in preparation for this, and we were preparing a lot for this. So, and there was this term called Catholic chai, right? Yeah. So something very very interesting in that term called chai. So Johnny, I want to ask you this question: what does chai mean to you?
Chai means one second. Yeah. So for me, this is okay, just a second. I think some of the viewers said that the comments are turned off. Probably if technical team could take care of that. So yes, Neil, back to your question. For me, this day, especially this day, was pretty hectic, and definitely at the end of the day, this chai that was, to be honest, made for me by my wonderful roommates here, I stay with a couple of them, is just amazing. It's a stress buster for me. So that's what chai is, and that's what we hope this talk show also would be for you. Probably a stress buster, probably a doubt buster, maybe. So yeah, so I think we have a special guest with us here today, Neil. I think in the interest of time, probably we can quickly invite him, maybe.
Yes. So awesome. All of you would have already seen the poster called, Catholic dating and relationships. Probably a very interesting topic. And today we have a person who is very, very apt for this topic. A person who has a lot of knowledge in this, and a person who's very, very learned in the Catholic teachings, especially in the theology of the body. So today we have Jacob Jose with us. You would have already seen him on the posters. And I know him for the last 7 years or so. He's a very inspiring man. So welcome, Jacob Jose.
Welcome, Jacob. So probably a quick mic check. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear, but I cannot hear Neil, but I can hear Johnny.
Okay. Hopefully Neil's audio will become clearer in time. So probably, yes, Jacob, we all know why we have gathered here today. Quite anxious, at least some of us. So probably moving on quickly to the first question, maybe, what is dating? Now, as a Catholic, is it okay for me to date?
All right. And I think that's a very relevant question, because you wherever I go to speak to youth, they ask this, uh, and also as a Catholic, is it okay for me to date? Okay, let me start by saying that, since there are conflicting ideas about dating, we must first define what is Catholic dating. How do you define Catholic dating? Catholic dating is when a boy and a girl meet up with a sole intention to discern if they are willing to unite in marriage and raise a family together. And your question, is it okay for a Catholic to date? Is yes, absolutely, it's okay, provided it's okay for a Catholic to date, but it has to be done in the right context and in the right time, and also within the clear boundaries set. So that means avoiding occasions of sin, both in mind and body. So remember, Catholic dating is always done in the context of marriage. I guess that is. I hope that's clear.
Okay, so Jacob, you were using this word called context of marriage. Now, I think all of us are very curious to know what exactly this dating in the context of marriage is. Can you please tell us about that?
Johnny. Yeah.
So was that what was that again?
Yeah, that was my
Are
answer.
you, I,
Were you able to hear?
Yes, quite audible, Jacob.
All right. Okay.
okay, are you able to hear me, Jacob?
Okay. Since if Neil is asking me a question because I'm not able to hear him, would you be able to ask that question?
Yes.
Absolutely, Jacob. So probably in context of what you just answered. So
Right.
what do you mean by saying that dating has to be in the context of marriage? Connected probably to the earlier question.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for saying that for on behalf of Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very relevant question because that needs to be stressed also. Now, dating, you must understand that dating is not, a casual relationship like we see on TV or movies or books like Milton Books, where marriage is not the immediate goal. Such relationship, I would say such relationship as Catholics we should avoid because of the moral, emotional, and spiritual risks that are involved. I mean, involved. I hope you understand what are the risks involved. Moral risks involved, emotional heartbreaks involved, spiritual. Of course, you understand. Then dating should not be an opportunity also, to seek out the pleasures reserved for marriage. What do I mean by that? The intimate, emotional, physical connection that is reserved for marriage. So dating is not an opportunity for us to seek out those pleasures. Those are strictly for marriage. Okay, now what do I mean by in the context of marriage? The goal of the Catholic dating must be to discern whether two persons are willing to commit themselves to the sacrament of marriage and raise a family. And that's what I mean by saying that, Catholic dating must be about marriage and marriage alone. Was it audible?
That, yes, Jacob. Am I audible to you now? Yes, I
I am.
did believe. I believe that
Part.
the last that you mentioned was about dating in the context of marriage. Yes,
That's right.
it was pretty audible. So let me just
Right.
take a moment there, Jacob. A moment to stray to our comment section there. Yes, our dear audience. The comments are now live. The technical issues have been resolved. We are seeing the comments rolling in. Thank you so much for responding. If possible, yes, please mention the place that you're watching this live stream, this live talk show from, so that we can respond to you. So moving on, maybe Neil, would you just if you're audible right now, if you can probably yeah.
No, Neil is not audible to me yet.
Okay. I think yeah, Neil is audible to me, but then he's not audible to you. But yeah, we'll have that sorted out soon, hopefully. So along the lines of what you just answered, Jacob, something very practical, personally for me too. Um, I think I am genuinely attracted to someone. No, it's what I think. It's what I
Right.
think, and for me, I think so. And should I propose, or what should be my next steps?
All right. That's a good question. Um, when you if you're attracted to someone, I would say rejoice, because you have just discovered a marvelous gift that God has hidden in you. That's the first thing that I want to tell you, because attraction is not something wrong or bad. It's a beautiful gift that God has given to us. Now there are a few things that we need to understand before I answer the question, because attraction is a divine gift by which we are drawn to the person of the opposite gender, right? And there are two reasons why we are attracted to the opposite gender. One is a divine reason, and then another one that I want to say is a human reason. So the divine reason is because you can refer to CCC 1603. It says we are attracted to someone because the vocation to marriage is inscribed in the heart of every man and woman. Because just as God is three, they, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, they're a communion. They are one. Just similar to that, God wants us to be one in a communion. That's why He created us male and female. So that vocation, that call to communion, to become one flesh, is inscribed in our heart. So that is the first reason why we have attraction to the other. Oftentimes we know this, we don't realize this, we don't even care about it. Now next is a human reason why we are attracted to the other. That is, our attraction to the other, somebody in the opposite gender, is actually a response to something really beautiful that we find in that person, such as beauty. It could be talents, it could be the character of that person. So it's a natural response to that, that we witness in that person. It could be beauty, it could be goodness, it could be truth. It could be one of these. So we are attracted to that. Right. Now your question is, should I propose? Now I would ask you to discern before you do that. You by asking yourself a question. Now, what is this question that you can ask? Ask yourself a question: am I ready to unconditionally commit my whole life to this one person, and to the demands of raising a family together? That's the same question. So let me read that again. Let me say that again. Am I ready to unconditionally commit my whole life to this one person, and also to the demands of raising a family together? You must also consider the social and spiritual aspects too. What are the social aspects? You must ask the opinion of your parents. Can I look for a spouse? What are their thoughts about it? And also your status of the status of your siblings are also important, because in our culture, in an Indian culture, we know that if our it is tradition that our older brother, or our older sister, or if you have a sister, they get married first before that. So these are things that we can consider. It's good to consider. And another thing is your education. Are you educated enough to get a job, or do you have the income enough to support a family now? So you ask these questions. And spiritual one, the other one, another aspect is that, are you ready to meet the demands of love? John Paul II always says, do not be afraid to meet the demands of love. So the marriage brings in a lot of demands. Are you ready to face those demands of love? If your answer is yes to this question, okay, maybe you're well settled now. You think you're now ready to give yourself as a gift to the other. If that is your answer, then I would say take things further diligently. That is in consultation with your parents, your elders, prayerfully, and with a lot of take it further. That means you can now, that we discussed dating. So dating, so maybe you can start dating in the context of discerning that person. Right now, if you're not ready, these are a few things that I want you to listen to. We will have attractions right from the age of, say, 13, 14 until we die. Okay, so that means, every time when we see somebody beautiful, when we see somebody with a beautiful character, we are attracted. That's naturally. But these attractions are only a reminder. Every time you have an attraction, you cannot go ahead and propose. Then you will end up proposing 500 times. That's not the right thing to do. So you should understand that attraction is not a reminder, or, or it's not a trigger for you to propose, but rather it is a reminder that you have this wonderful call within you to become a gift in marriage. So that's what you should remember. When I have a gift, sorry, when I see somebody, I'm attracted to that person. Now the thought that should come into your mind is that I have this wonderful gift within me to become a gift to that person in marriage. And I would say preserve your proposal for that right time. When your previous answer, remember, that answer is yes, preserve your proposal for that time. Okay. Now, what do I do when I have an attraction to one person? I will tell you there are three things you can do. Immediately, you know, attraction is a beautiful thing. You have a butterfly suddenly, in your stomach, your eyes are twinkling. These, attraction evokes a wonder, a kind of wonder in your heart. That gives you an opportunity to give praise to God, the God who created that particular person that you're attracted to. So you begin by thanking God, you're praising God for that person, for the beautiful person that God has created. You must also, if possible, go ahead and compliment this person. Hey, you're looking wonderful. So those are things that will liberate us. And the second thing that you can do is to thank God for this beautiful gift that God has given us. We thank God, thank the giver of the gift, that is God, and also the gift itself, that is the very beauty, the very person. So we thank God, and also thank the gift that God has given. Third thing is intercession. I will tell you, you must intercede when you have attracted to someone. It is an opportunity for you to intercede for that person that you're attracted to. Pray for his vocation, pray for his future. You have many things to pray for, and you also pray for yourself, that you might become a beautiful gift one day in marriage for your own spouse. And I think that is so. That is, I think that when you're attracted to someone, that's what you should be doing. Hope that answer suffices.
Yes, Jacob. And one thing that resounded personally with me was to ask myself if I was ready. Like you
Yeah.
gave us those couple of things to consider before probably taking those next steps. Now let's
Right.
just say that I am ready, Jacob. Now,
Right.
how do I find the right person?
Okay, that's a very important question. Now, how do I
Yeah.
how do I find the right person? And I would start by saying there is no magical formula available. Okay, sorry about that. But then more than,
Unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. But you must understand, more than you, your heavenly Father is concerned about your spouse. About your future, about your marriage. So you don't have to really worry about that. All that you need to do, following things. You have a clear goal in your mind as to what you need to seek in that person, or what you need to seek. Oftentimes, people have complicated, unrealistic goals. I remember I had about 11 points in my, jotted down in my diary, that included all unrealistic. When I look back, it's really funny. But then it's we all have this complicated, unrealistic goals. I tell you, let the goals be based on reality, not on fantasy. That's what I want to say. Now, how do you know if your goals are based on reality? What is the reality? Reality is that marriage is not about getting. It's not about you attaining something, you fulfilling something, you're satisfying something. It's all about giving. That's the first. The second thing, marriage is not so much about whom I'm giving. It is or it is about how I'm giving. More than who is how I'm giving myself, my whole self to that person and also to God. Then third one is, marriage is a vocation. It's not a vacation. Understand the difference? It's a vocation to holiness. And then, must also understand there are definitely going to be challenges. You know, whoever you are, there will be challenges in marriage. These challenges in marriage are there to discipline us. They are good. They will discipline our selfishness, and that will discipline us to less. And that's wonderful an opportunity for us to become saints, for us to become to reach heaven. And also the success of marriage does not on your capacity, but it depends on God's grace. So you need to depend on God. So if you understand these basic things, then your whole idea of discerning the person will change. How do I discern? You should understand that there are no perfect. There are absolutely no perfect person. The Bible says everybody has fallen and everybody. So there's no imperfect person. But then can I choose? Can I be choosy in selecting the? Yes, you can be choosy. You can be choosy about the family background of that person, about the complexion of that person, height or career. You have the list of things that you can be choosy about. But I would tell you that be choosy, but only in a practical way. They're be choosy, but then don't have unrealistic ideas and criteria. Now, the other thing is that, this is a very important thing I want to say, that a lot of people think that there is someone that God has kept for them from eternity. That idea
Absolutely.
is that yeah, Johnny, I want to say that idea is not right. They call that person the soulmate. Actually,
Yeah.
there is no person that God has kept for you from eternity, predestined for you from eternity. You know what? God wants you to make a choice and and be responsible for that. God wants you to make that choice in freedom. You need to discern and then see when I'm ready to say yes to this person. That's when I'm ready, and then that's my decision. It is not that God is pushing a person into your life. No, that's not how it works. And I would say that when you take a decision to marry someone, or that means when I take a decision to become a gift to someone, God blesses that choice that you make, and He ratifies that decision. And He says, now, that's when He says, let no man put asunder what God has put together. So that's when He blesses. Then it is a marriage, it is irrevocable. It's a permanent marriage. It's a permanent coming together. So you're married until you die. Right?
So
Hope that.
Jacob, as I understand what you just said right now, you just said that there is no soulmate, there is no predestined person that's kept for me.
That's right.
Is that what you said? So,
Yes, that's
so,
what I.
so Jacob, I'm just gonna get a little biblical here. I mean, I'm just gonna get pardon me, a little biblical here. So,
Okay.
we read in the Old Testament there is the story of Hosea and Gomer, and now the classic example in the New Testament of Joseph and Mary.
All
Now,
right.
I mean, how does that connect with what you just said, Jacob?
Yeah, okay, that's an excellent question. All right. You know what? There are times when God will be very specific. You remember God speaking to Abraham, specific words, leave that country and then, do what I tell you to do. And in the case of Hosea, it was a very clear instruction to Hosea, because God wanted to show humanity something profound, something beautiful. It was this, you know that Hosea was asked to marry a prostitute. Remember that? And when he was
Absolutely.
gone,
Yeah. Yeah.
and why did he do that? Because humanity was actually like a prostitute. Instead of dedicating their whole life to one God, they were after many gods, many things. Their priorities were many. So we were actually the prostitutes. So he was saying, so Hosea was actually representing Jesus. And then, just as you remember, Samaritan woman, she had 5 husbands, and then Jesus comes to take her as his own. So it was like, so what Hosea, what God was trying to say is that, you are now like these prostitutes, and I am a bridegroom who comes to cleanse you from your you spotless, so that you become mine and I become your only bridegroom. And also, you understand, when it comes to Joseph and Mary, it's the same thing, because there God wanted to bring to the world, God wanted to incarnate as the Redeemer, and then come and live and be with us. So that was a specific call. And I'll tell you, in case if God has a specific call for you, you will not be confused at all. It will be very clear. But if it is not that, in a general sense, God will not give you names for your spouse. It is something that you need to do on your own. It is. That's why God has given us the intellect and the will to discern and decide. Hope that's clear.
That was very explanative and comprehensive there, Jacob. But then again, there still remains the question: if there is no right person per se, if there is no predestined person, is there any point in praying for a future spouse? Like, and then if so, you mentioned there were 11 points that you had like a checklist. So do I pray like that? Do I pray like, okay, God, like this tick, please ensure that this is there, this speech, like how does that work? How do I pray for a future spouse?
That's another excellent question. Though I said I had 11 points, when I look back, I can only laugh about it, because that's not how things work. It is not like a supermarket where you give a list and you get a person, and you think he's going to solve all your problems. No, like I said, marriage is a call to give. It's a call to, it is iron sharpens iron. There's going to be challenges, so it's going to be a giving. So I would suggest this. If you have been praying to God this way, that you've been praying, God, show me the right person, go show me the right person to marry, I would suggest a little twist to your prayer. Why don't you start praying in this way, so that now that we've understood what is the goal of marriage, you should pray this way. Pray that God make me the right husband, the right person, or make me the right gift for my spouse in marriage. So maybe there are things that are too selfish in you. Maybe there are things that you need to change. You need to become better. So ask God for the grace that He gives you, so that you become a wonderful husband, a wonderful wife for that person whom you're going to say yes to tomorrow when you get married. Does that make sense?
That kind of, you just blew my mind there, Jacob, because for me, I have always prayed, like, how do I find the right person? Please give me the right person. But I never thought, Jacob, to actually pray or to ask God to make me the right person. So that was a very beautiful thought there, Jacob. Thank you so much for sharing that again. So Jacob, probably, taking a moment, breaking off to address our lovely, lively audience here. So first of all, we have people from Mumbai, from, I guess, Kolkata, again, different parts of Kerala, Thrissur, Kottayam, and we have a majority from Bangalore, definitely, and we have Bipin from Masterplan. We have a couple of people on the live streaming over here. So thank you all again for joining. So probably, Jacob, if you don't mind, probably we can probably address one question that which Jeffrey has asked us. So Jeffrey has a query wherein he asks us, can we date someone from a different rite? That is, can a Syro Malabar individual probably date a girl from a Latin rite? So Jeffrey has a question. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's a good question. We know that in the Indian context, we are three rights. So that's beautiful, that we have three different rights, but then we are all Catholics. There is absolutely nothing wrong with discerning with a person from another right, whether you can marry that person or not. But I would also present to you certain other conditions or situations that would help you to think this out a bit. Because we have three different rights, you understand that we have three different cultures. Okay. So, because our parents we are all born in that culture. So it might be a little difficult for you to suddenly get into, somebody else's culture and so you need to discern that I would say with your parents and elders and all that, but ultimately is your decision. Okay? Consider, these aspects, like I said, the social aspect, the spiritual aspects and all that, and then make a decision. Okay, so as long as that person is a Catholic, there is absolutely nothing wrong with dating that person with a view to discerning if we can marry and then raise a family together. But always involve your parents and other elders into that process.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jacob. Jeffrey, I hope that probably answered your question. Again, probably a quick. Yet another question by. We have a person by the name Unbox Creative. The person asks, so does that mean it's fine to date if parents are okay with it and you are committed to one person before marriage?
That question is not very clear. What does that mean?
Okay, so
So,
probably I can just repeat that again, Jacob, and you can probably take the context out of it maybe. So, is it fine to date if our parents are okay with it and you are committed to one person before marriage?
Johnny, I think your voice was breaking when you said that. Would you say that again?
Yeah, sure. Am I audible now, Jacob? Am I audible
Yes,
now?
you are. You are.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
this person asks us, is it fine to date if our parents
yeah,
are okay with it and you are
yeah.
committed to one person before marriage?
What do you mean by committed to one person? That you do you mean that he was in a relationship with somebody?
I believe so. This question is just that much. So I'm addressing from the audience. So probably in a context that which you feel is right, if you can share, Jacob, that would be great.
I think if you have listened to the talk right from the beginning, we have also set out, what is a Catholic dating. So as long as your goals are clear, as long as your boundaries are clear, and then you can choose according to that. I assume if your parents are okay with it, then it is all about you. Finally, ultimately, it has to be your decision. So I would be glad if I can get the a background to be more specific, but then I would say, stick to the criterions we have given so far, when you date someone.
So
Johnny, can
Jacob,
you hear me?
I, I think yeah, you broke off a little in between, but I hope it was clearer for the audience, maybe even if it wasn't clear for me. So, am I audible to you now, Jacob?
Okay, there is another question. Should I take that? I think that's a reasonable one. What he's saying, Sheba is asking, maybe it is silly by asking this. So basically, we can date only if we are ready to marry that person. I would say yes, because I would say marriage is not dating is not a precursor to a premarital relationship, but it's a precursor to marriage. So that is right. You've understood it right.
Well,
Johnny, are you there?
again, Jacob, unfortunately, I think you broke off a little in between. Again, I really hope the audience were able to hear that a little more clearly. Maybe I wasn't able to hear. So again, I believe there is a technical
Right.
glitch. So, Jacob, am I audible to you again now? Am I audible to you now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Johnny. You're not able to hear me?
Okay.
There,
If you can hear me, great. Okay. You are a little distorted to me, but yeah, I believe if you can hear me, that's great. So probably again, audience, I hope I'm audible to you. And if we do not have any more questions, maybe I guess in the interest of time, Jacob, thank you once again so much for being with us on the show today. It was a pleasure and a privilege to have you on the show with us. And thank you so much for taking us through the answers to those very relevant questions this evening. So thank you, Jacob. Jacob, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Awesome, Jacob. So thank you once again, Jacob, for being with us on the Catholic Talk Show today. Thank you so much.